I will start with the obvious. And you seem to haven't had some tremendous games. Not only the scoring, but how efficient he was scoring. Just speaking.
I mean, it was certainly a you hate to say classic book because that would mean you almost take it for granted. But the way he scored tonight and against different defenses, they were blitzing tonight and he started the game just getting off of it and we were knocking down shots. And then after that, it was just a snowball. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know he had 51. The coaches told me when we got in the back, I knew he scored a ton, but I didn't know it was 50. So it certainly was a special night. And to do it in 30 minutes, I think it was, he only played 30 minutes. So it's just one of those moments that you just sit and watch a guy get hot and then you see everybody feeding off of it. And it felt like every time you let it go, it was just going to fall into the basket. And then, you don't even notice DA had 30 when a guy has 51. So I'm happy for him, happy for his family, the work that he puts in, playing the right way, getting off of it and ended up with 50 points is pretty cool. So it certainly was a good night for us.
Then with this piggybacking off what you said about Ayton, it's like, this is how important Chris is. With these two, you can see how dominant they can be as a tandem duo or whatever. How do you make them go collectively together? Well,
I can't, they would say the same thing. Like everything we do is about the team. There were certain moments in the game where those two had it going, especially on the right side of the basket in the first half. We played a two-man game and it was pretty cool to watch them, whether it was a DHO or he threw it to Book and Book came off of a pick and roll, shot it, or DA found him for a back door. Like that was pretty cool to watch. And, I think all of these moments, opportunities are going to help us in the future. When you're able to do this without Chris, it makes you think about the potential of our team as we go forward. And I think they would say the same thing. If not for the spacing on the backside, it doesn't open it up for those two to play the way that they did together tonight.
I think Deandre just said in his post-game interview, he was disappointed in himself a little bit with how the season started, but he's obviously turned it around tremendous amount. And what do you attribute? Is it just mindset? I mean, what do you attribute the way he's kind of improved?
I don't know. I think for me, it's always about the consistent work. Whether you're going through a tough stretch, not getting off to the start you want to, you just keep working at it. We have a phrase, reps removed out. If you get the work in, you can trust the work, and he's been working his tail off this year, whether it's in the weight room or extra work with MB. I think over the long haul, the guys that work, sooner or later, it's going to pay off for you. And, he's certainly gotten himself into the kind of shape that it takes for a guy to put up these kinds of numbers. I think that's part of it too. There's probably a few other variables I'm missing, but I think when you put the work in, you run into nights like this or seasons or moments like this during the season. And I think that's something that he should be proud of, but not satisfied with.
I just says Landry's shooting night. You guys know do the shooting nights in Minnesota with the game that he last played before he went into the judging protocol.
I mean, I think it just takes guys time to get their legs. He's had moments like this with us. We're hopeful that he can sustain, where he is playing in 0.5, shooting the ball when the opportunities are there, playing free, not deferring to anybody. I think that's when he's at his best.
51's a crazy number anywhere you get there, but to have just 6 threes and 5 free throws with the amount he scored from He's always been a pretty old school player by trade, but just can you speak on how complete of a scorer he is, where it just feels like any single point on the floor?
You just did.
I did.
No, I mean, look, he's there's not a level where he can't score, and he can use both hands. He can score with a hand in his face, and he's willing to take the tough shots. Like, that's the thing that people, I know they know it about him, but I talk about it all the time. He's a big shot maker, but he's also a big shot taker. And so when you have a post-up game, when you can play in the mid-range, when you can attack the basket and shoot it from three, it makes you hard to guard. And then I thought the most impressive thing was the way he started the game when they were blitzing him. He got off of it, and we were able to make them pay. And then it just kind of snowballed from there because guys were knocking down shots. Then he started going, and he was beating the blitz a few times and getting to the basket. One time he split it and got to the rack. And I think the work that he's put in, you can see his body is maturing and changing. He's able to take the hits around the basket and finish. That's something that is going to pay off for us as we go forward. The ability to take those hits, finish, go to the free throw line, it allows us to set our defense. But there's not a level or an area on the floor where he can't score the ball.
Thank you. How'd you like to win it in his last 2 plays of the game, or just getting right past?
I mean, it's how we play. I mean, we have a mentality, we call it let it fly, but we also share the ball. I mean, that's, again, I think that he would say the same thing. Like, we if somebody's open, we'll take a great shot over a good shot. And I think that was his mentality.
Coach, you've had some wild ones here in the last 4, whether it's Express in Sacramento or ultimately Utah, and then of course the Lakers and Pistons out. What do you feel like just outside of Booker and Ayton led to the conflict in the win tonight?
It's hard to say. I mean, they missed some shots. We played pretty good defense in the first half. I mean, we held them to 18 points in the second. Like, when we have quarters like that and we score, it gives us a bit of a buffer. Same thing happened last game in Sacramento. We held them to 20. That allowed us to create a bit of a buffer for us, and it gave us some confidence. When we do it at home, the crowd gets involved, and this becomes a tough place to play. I think our guys are showing a level of resiliency in games. No matter what happens, if we give up a 60-point half, they come out in the third, and their mentality is we got to D up. That's going to make the offense easier. The awareness of the game, I think, is something that's growing, whether it's understanding what the officials are calling or understanding where the game is and what we need to do to come out with a win.
Folks, I'm kind of curious, since you've been here, this team will have like a very good winning, very team chemistry, ball movement, those things. Do you make any comparison to those old Spurs teams, Popovich teams back in the past that would have that winning pedigree that just knew how to win in a regular season?
I mean, we'd love to be in that class. We're not there yet. But that's a program and a standard that we look at. We want to create our own, but it's certainly one that inspires us. Golden State's won with that same mentality. There's a number of programs that have done it that way, but we're not there yet. We're developing it. We have guys that have committed to it, but we have a ways to go. It's too early in the season, 21 games. We do move the ball. We play unselfish basketball, but we also understand the defensive side of the ball. And I think that makes that offensive part that you talked about not easier, but somewhat more efficient. But we have a ways to go before we can even be in that conversation with teams that have won 4 and 5 championships.
Coach, Damian Lee was off to a fantastic start to the season, scoring 12 points tonight. He started the season shooting 341 of 83. How can you just attest just how great of an acquisition you've been so far this season?
You guys you always answer the questions and you ask me the question. I mean, you just said, I think the thing that's impressive about D. Lee, I think he could play with any team. I think when you come up the way that he did, you learn how to acclimate. He's starting to figure out how to play with us. But I think when you can play efficiently in the Golden State program and playing all those big games and be in those crazy atmospheres, I think after that, everything else is normal to you. But he's also a guy that puts the work in. When we're in our coaches' meetings, he's one of the first guys on the floor every day. even on off days where we really don't want him to touch the floor, we're giving the guys a day off. He'll come out there and just shoot 20 free throws just to feel the ball. You know, guys like that respect the work, and you're not as surprised when you see them being productive on the floor. I think the thing that I'm impressed with is his ability to get to the paint and shoot the floater, or get to the paint and find guys. I didn't know that he had that in his game.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
You know, this is one of the nights where it was falling, those games where I miss a lot of shots, and I'm like, you got to keep shooting them. You know, I train enough to where I know I'm supposed to make them, and you know, unbelievable screens tonight, unbelievable team game, and beginning to end, we play really well.
You just look at, I find it interesting, the previous 50-plus point game that ended in losses. And this was the first one that resulted in a win. It just, to me, speaks to the growth of where this team would come from those earlier days when you were, you know, putting up those kind of numbers. Do you feel the same way about it, or you see it maybe a little different?
Obviously feels better with the win. But that was just a whole different time, man. We're playing different basketball. We're in a rebuilding stage, and just a young team trying to figure it out. You know, we have established veterans on this team. We have guys out, you know, with guys coming in and ready to go. So, you know, the team's so deep. We play so well together, and, you know, it's fun to be a part of.
That sequence you had where you hit a three to give you 50, but then they call a foul on Landale. Looked like you just decided, you know what, I'm gonna get this small away. Was that pretty much what happened?
Yeah, I figured I was going to come out, you know, at the end of the third. So a lot of people get on my case when I fall short of 50. I always tell them I've done that before and didn't win, so I'd rather win. But tonight we got to do both.
Yeah, what does it feel like? I mean, obviously you're sitting watching a victory, but to not get back in there and just keep going.
It's fine when I'm winning. You know, I've been there before. Like you said, I've had 50 before. You know, so it's not something that I'm shooting for at all. You know, if it happens within the flow of the game and, you know, I have it going and the team, you know, wants to keep playing through me, then I'll do that.
When did you know you were in that zone?
Do you want me to hit the Javon Carter or KD when I woke up?
That was Javon. That was great.
Yeah. No, man, there's been a few games, even last game in SAC. Still feel like I missed, you know, a lot of shots that I should have made. And I'm always going to feel like that after a game. But, you know, I keep stressing the screens, and, you know, even with the double teams and the box and one that they threw tonight, I feel like I still got really good looks.
You're going through your pregame today. You got it going a bit on the threes and started moving with a bit more mojo. Can that carry over to a game sometimes for you?
Yeah, you know, that's important. You're drilling, you know, when you're out there drilling, I'm imagining myself in the game, and I'm imagining myself in those moments. So, you know, I shoot every ball to make it. You know, I don't take any play shots.
Did that feel like Utah and Boston a bit at a certain point in the third quarter?
Utah and Boston?
Yeah, just,
like
just with the way you had it going.
Yeah. You know, it just felt like a double-sized rim out there that, you know, if I rise up, it's going in.
But to your point, you just want to win it. The last two plays you made in the game were just right pass, right?
But yeah, I mean, those are aggressive double teams. So. I was looking to shoot it, believe me.
You called the
And yeah, exactly.
When we see your demeanor, I mean, we know this is pretty much what it is, but how much fun was tonight with the fans and the crowd and all that going?
It's the best. It's the best, man. I don't know. They announce it every game. I don't know how many sold out crowds that is in a row, but it's impressive. Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, it doesn't matter what day of the week is, they're going to show up and show out. And it's fun to be a part of. I think it's a big part of why we've had so much success in our home games this season. And, you know, let's keep it rolling.
You've heard the MVP chants quite a bit at this point. What did it feel like the first time you heard it?
This year? Or are you saying in
Last
general?
few years ago, at some point,
They did it a couple times in my early years too. They did, even when we were in last in the West. That's what I'm saying, man. They're gonna show up and show out always, and it's always been a unconditional love from, you know, the Phoenix Suns fans, every fan in Arizona, and, you know, to be a part of this organization, this team for so long is, it's an honor.
I feel like the way DA played.
I love it. I love it. Let's keep it going. That's what I'm talking about.
Was there any incentive to have this type of performance with your teammate from USA exactly on the other side?
No, I mean, it was just happened to be the same game. I mean, I have a lot of respect for those guys. Debo too. Those are guys that I watch and I admire, every move that they make, and they're doing some things out there. I'm like, dang, I wish I had that in my game. And there's a bunch of guys like that around the league that, I just try to take bits and pieces and study, their movements and their tendencies. And, there's a bunch of guys in this league with the endless amount of moves and what we call a bag.
So you bring up DeMar, it's now like 5 straight games where you've really played well against him. Is there something you get more out of facing people you look up to, your idols?
I mean, every night I can find something. I mean, we played the Pistons the other night and Ben Wallace was over there. So, it's just every game, I'm going to find something because, I don't lose sight of being that kid that always wanted to play in the NBA. And, I have a lot of respect for the guys that have came before me, the guys that are in here now. It's a brotherhood that's, fun to be a part of.
Chauncey's got to figure out a way to not be around.
Yeah, exactly. They got us twice though.
I'll let Tayshaun Prince in the building.
Yeah, he don't. He's in Memphis now. Good. All right, y'all. Yeah.
That's just D-Book doing D-Book, man. I seen that a lot. It's a great performance. It was all in the offense as well. We were getting hits, and he was taking what they gave him. Simple as that. The dude was in motion, he was in flow, and when he on like that, it's pretty hard to stop him.
When you look at just the way you two had that stretch of playing off each other, how much of that is just the years?
Yeah.
of being together?
Yeah, it's muscle memory now. I know every encounter. We've probably seen every defense the league can probably throw at you, especially in the pick and roll and at D-Book himself. And we accept all of it. And we just play through it and we adjust throughout the game and we practice it, we learn it, we study it, and that's what you see in the game.
You again, I think it's the 7th straight double this extends the streak for you. What led to that tonight?
Doing what I'm supposed to do. Not taking plays off, putting pressure on the rim and, just finishing my rolls to the rim to try and get my hands on old boards and, just close our possessions on the defensive end. I think we did a good job on, just being in shifts and, just making it a little challenging for guys to get to the rim, although they did do their thing in transition. But when it was a full court set, it was pretty hard for them to get into their flow of offense.
DA, do you sense the energy on the court change when someone has it going like that the way Devin did?
Yeah. Like I said, this team is known for you might not know who might have the hot hand. And obviously Book has the hot hand every game, but when it comes down to actually knowing that he has the hot hand, we adjust and we try our best to keep our guy going, but also creating stops on the defense to get other people going and other looks, just to really put them on their heels.
You've had a great spot for a lot of his big nights. Have you seen him get it going like that before?
Yeah, a few times, a lot of times, to be honest. We just came out the playoffs, and when he does it in those big moments where it actually counts, that's when it's really unbelievable and like, dang, I'm really on this court with you right now, bro. Keep going. Things like that is kind of bit unimaginable. But you see the hard work we put in together. We yell at each other. So yeah, I'm on the court with you, and we're locked in, and I just try my best to set good screens for that man, and let him handle the rest.
When you came off the court to end the game, what was Chris telling?
Well, he's telling me I had 28. Why I kicked the ball out. He was getting on me a little bit. I said, man, that dude's chopping me hard, dude. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm gonna kick it out.
You visually react.
Yeah, he didn't. Hey, T. Gray made the 3 though. Needed that.
Seems like when you spend on Jones' point, creating that energy,
creates other hot hands like Landry tonight. And,
Yeah.
Of course, what do you see? Those guys are collapsing on you. Those guys get out and let fly. What is it? What do you make of that?
Start with D Lee. D Lee is a championship player, man. You know, he's a whole champion. When it comes to that winning basketball, like he fits right in the program, man. You know, moving without the ball, crashing the glass, and you know, finishing, you know, in big shots when the ball is rotating like that, making a defensive move, and it takes so much out of teams. And having Landry and D Lee be playmakers as well to take a load from Book, it's amazing, man. You know, this team is all about next man up. You know, it's not all about, you know, just having our main guys. You know, guys are on this team that's ready to contribute and play. And Landry and Cam, Landry, Cam, and D Lee are the main vocal points when it comes to that, especially like playmaking and feeding me the rock and, you know, spacing up the floor for me and Book when we're in action.
In a game like that, when it's already been decided and in the last possessions, you kind of look like you use that time to kind of work on your post stuff.
Yeah.
And just kind of work on
Yeah.
some stuff that
I mean, if coach gonna put me in there, I gotta work on something. You know, not taking it anything away, but you know, I was really locked in on, you know, just finishing off strong. You know, there's a little thing in the league where, you know, you see a comfortable position and, you know, some teams, you know, tend to get some type of momentum going in those little minutes. And I'm glad coach put me in to really just shut it all down and, you know, just seal the deal and, you know, just, you know, finish off the game the right way.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Like I say, watch.